How we doing, YouTube? Today, we'll be watching AZTECROSS new Destiny 2 video, sort of like a state of play. He's been doing a couple of these for the past weeks. And today, the one he uploaded, D2 has microtransaction hell. I tried telling you from the beginning, man. Anyways, he uploaded this 6 hours ago and 250,000 view. Oh, Jesus, baby. This one's hot. Paul Tassi. Dexterito, whoever is making some news, put the news out. Here we go. Let's get right into it. Real quick, I was playing Destiny 1 since I played Destiny since the beta back then. I had over 52 King's Fall clears, each with different teams. Lost a couple brain cells, but anyways, let's get right into it.
October 13th, we'll see the return of Test to the Tower. Silver is a new currency coming to Destiny that is bought with real money. This is the introduction of microtransactions into Destiny, but I've never had a problem with cosmetic microtransactions. A lot of people will now mention the slippery slope argument. Yes, Dado, we start with shaders, emblems, emotes, but who is to say that they won't introduce materials, armor, or weapons in the future? If we see legendary guns for sale, if we see legendary marks for sale, I'm gonna be mad. If we see something like 100 motes of light for $5, I'm gonna be mad. I don't wanna see power sold, I don't wanna see shortcuts to power sold, nothing. I don't wanna see weapon parts, ammo synths, nothing. If Bungie does cross that line, you have my rage.
I remember when that happened, and because back then I was watching the Destiny podcast. What's it called? The community podcast with Brian Rabbit. Forget their names. Was 5,000 watts already part of it? The dude that went to go work for Bungie, Holtzman, and I'm trying to remember the host. It's such an easy name too. Frick, what's his name? I forget his name. He does music. I forget his name. But anyways, I remember Brian Rabbit, in particular, he brought up he didn't like that this was going to be microtransactions were coming into the game because they were a slippery slope that will lead to other things like armor, or back then we didn't know about dungeons, but they didn't lock part of the game, but dungeon keys are a thing now where you have to use real money in order for you to play the dungeon. When said dungeon would come in the season that it drops, and you ideally pay silver, aka real money, to buy that season's battle pass, and you'd think you get the dungeon for free, but nah, you need them dungeon keys. Anyways, let's get back into it.
Guys, I hate to say it, but now may be the time to start raging. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying, no, this is not a joke video. When it comes to greedy corporate monetization practices, to us, this is really not a laughing matter. Those clips you just watched are from a 7-year-old video Dado posted in Destiny 1 about a month after the release of The Taken King, and my god, it has aged like fine wine. Today, we're talking about the state of microtransactions inside of Destiny 2. Because over the last several years, and increasingly this past year, we have seen a dramatic increase in monetization for anything and everything Bungie can slap behind a paywall. This includes raising prices, creating new avenues for spending, double dipping into the existing player base, and giving players blatant pay-to-win benefits. Now, here are the timestamps on the screen for each topic covered in this video. This is going to be a long one, so grab your popcorn. And one thing I ask before you leave a comment criticizing or even defending Bungie, please watch this video in its entirety. We're going to cover a lot.
Anytime some of the content creators would discuss or give feedback about these microtransactions, most of the community and some creators will back it up by saying, well, Bungie needs to make more money. They need to make more money so we could have the resources to make new stuff. And it just seems like, well, they could have all this money, but then they put it towards something else, like their new games. When's the last time we got a new PvP map? You know, these servers we're getting kicked out every now and then. Like pretty often in the weekly resets, something's always breaking. I don't know, man. I just go with it. I've learned my lesson. You know, Lightfall was a crap show with the story, and they let go some of their narrative team, and some people were saying that they were not the ones who did Lightfall, but who knows? Who the frick knows?
Lot of ground today because I want all of us here to have a full perspective on how bad microtransactions have become over the past 7 years. And maybe by the end of this video, when all Bungie schemes are on the table, you will share my concern for what this game may look like 7 years in the future.
Yeah.
Now, first off, I want to set the record straight. Destiny 2 is not a free-to-play game. It's a free-to-try game. It's very important we are all on the same page here because this is the most common justification for the use of microtransactions across the industry. And the biggest illusion Bungie tries to spin in their marketing. Microtransactions in real free-to-play content makes perfect sense. If you're not paying to purchase the actual software, then the developers are completely justified in generating revenue using other means. Usually, this is just in the form of cosmetic items that players purchase for digital fashion, fun, or even clout. But developers can also use more shady techniques like loot boxes, bonuses, or even additional content to persuade players to spend more money. With that being said, Destiny, even after becoming free-to-play in 2019, has never actually been free-to-play. Matter of fact, Sweatcicle even made a video a couple weeks ago documenting the experience of a free-to-play player in Destiny, which I highly recommend giving a watch. In a nutshell, after completing the introduction quests and missions, free-to-play players can access Strikes, Crucible, Gambit, the Prophecy Dungeon, Vault of Glass, King's Fall, Open World, and Dares of Eternity. On the surface, that actually seems like a decent amount of free content, but is it actually? Compared to the massive amount of content in Destiny, this is just a fraction of what the majority of players have access to. You don't even get a campaign in free-to-play. You get rituals, quests, and a couple of high-end activities. Let's compare this to some other free-to-play games, shall we? Starting with arguably the most popular free-to-play game, Fortnite. There are plenty of microtransactions in Fortnite, but all of them are strictly for cosmetics. Even the seasonal battle pass, which you can pay for, is earnable via just playing the game. Granted, that would take a while. The free version of the battle pass gives you V-Bucks that you can save up to buy the paid version. And as long as you play enough to complete the battle pass each season, you can earn enough to repurchase it again next season. 100% completely free. There's even some currency left over you can choose to save or even spend in the shop if you want to buy some cosmetics. Next up, we have Warframe. Yes, I know comparing Destiny and Warframe is kind of a touchy subject, but Warframe is also, and you can earn the paid currency.
Okay, I want to skip some of this.
Player content is loot. You have to pay money.
Get the gist.
Now, Destiny 2 has a lot of paid content, but quite frankly, it's confusing as hell. You got the Lightfall plus annual pass, or Lightfall by itself, the Legacy Collection, which includes Witch Queen, Beyond Light, and Shadowkeep, the 30th Anniversary Pack, Witch Queen, Beyond Light separately, as well as Shadowkeep separately, the Forsaken Pack, and the Armory Collection, which includes both Forsaken and the 30th Anniversary Pack.
With the Forsaken, you can't play the campaign no more, can you? They took that away. They took away the base games. Destiny's 2 base game and year 1, year 2, well, year 1 DLC and all that, you know. They took the game away once I paid for it, man.
There's so many different bundles for old content that quite frankly, this is absurd. I have so many people that come into the stream that ask, which one do I buy? And quite frankly, how in the hell is someone new to the game supposed to navigate all of this? Now here's a novel idea. Why don't Bungie just bundle everything? Literally, just the everything bundle. All content through the year of Lightfall, or the Lightfall plus annual pass, or the legacy content bundle, which includes all those old things that tends to confuse the piss out of everyone. Now, if you need to itemize old expansions for players who want to purchase a single piece of content, that's fine. But even this list is already so much simpler than what Bungie already offers. Then you may be asking, why does this not exist already? Spoiler alert, there's no singular bundle for all of old Destiny content because Bungie refuses to improve the new player experience for the sake of decreased revenue. If they care more about the player base and the extra cash, they would bundle all the old content under one single legacy content bundle instead of nickel and diming new players. Now, why is the Forsaken Pack, a bundle containing a raid, a dungeon, and some exotic weapons and armor, still even a thing? It also used to contain 9 supers for each light subclass as well, and those were added into free-to-play because locking supers behind paywalls was stupid, and what remains is what new players are still paying for. Now, why was the 30th anniversary update even essential? separate paid add-on in the first place. Remember when Bungie updated the game with cool content for free? Some new players might not remember, but the April update in Destiny 1 was a free update to the game that increased light level, added a new story mission, quests, revamps of old strikes, updates to the Prison of Elders, chroma gear for custom armor glows, a new taken set of armor, reprised exotics, and legendary weapons. All of this for free. It was like a mini expansion that we got as a gift from Bungie. Fast forward a year ago, if you didn't pre-order the deluxe edition of Witch Queen, you had to dish out $25 to get access to things like the Grasp of Avarice dungeon, Galahorn, and a bunch of cosmetics. Yes, there were parts of this update that were free, like Dares of Eternity, which is a completely new activity, and I understand that a lot of developer work went into creating these. But I bring this up to draw a comparison of how things used to be 7 years ago. The reality is, if the 30th anniversary update was released in Destiny 1, we would have received it completely free.
Here we go. The taking money.
Now, the 30th anniversary update was also the tipping point that introduced dungeon keys to Destiny 2. These have got to be one of the most divisive double-dipping additions to the game ever made. For those of you who don't know, dungeon keys were added in the Witch Queen. Bungie releases 2 dungeons each year, and if you don't buy the deluxe edition, that being the expansion plus annual pass, you also have to buy these separately. Both dungeons are sold together for 2,000 silver. This is Bungie's in-game currency, which equates to $20. No longer are dungeons included in seasonal content, which made a lot of us scratch our heads asking, what the hell, Bungie? This only makes paying for content more confusing, and we know it to be a fact.
Man, I remember one of my buddies, she couldn't do one of the newest dungeons, and she had told me about the dungeon keys. I didn't know about them for some reason. I'm dumb. I guess I dipped in and out of the seasons of Destiny, and I ended up having to buy it for her. I think it was Grasp, or I forget, but dungeon keys. I'm not saying it's understandable, but I see why they did it. Is it premium content? Yeah, it's more or less. But with the talk of this microtransactions, there's some saying that because it's an MMO, it's sort of it has aspects of MMO in it. Most MMOs, they pay for a monthly service, or more or less, depends. But the most massive multiplayer online ones, and would you force players to pay each month to play your game for free, or you do season pass plus dungeon keys? And it's pretty tricky because I'd say most console players would not be down for the monthly subscription. But it's just tricky to have, once he starts happening to that market, I believe it gets a little bit weird.
From first-hand experience, one of our part-time editors bought Season of the Deep to play the dungeon and didn't realize Ghost of the Deep was not included in Season of the Deep, meaning he had to go buy the dungeon key after buying the season to play what he actually wanted to play. If one of us can make that mistake, how much easier is it for a new player who has never played Destiny to make that mistake as well? The title for the dungeon trailer on YouTube even suggests that it's included with the Season of the Deep. You will only find out otherwise if you read through Bungie's website, or visit the activity directly, or visit the last page in the ship alongside seasonal content. Surely the price of seasons deserve to be lower, right? No. Bungie raised the price of seasonal content. If you want to buy a season by itself, it used to cost only $10. And honestly, for 6 weeks of story, some cool cutscenes, access to the multiplayer activities and new gear, I would have argued that it was a great deal. But then Bungie increased the price. And you know what? Fair enough. Adjust for inflation, gotta put food on the table. It makes sense. Bungie announced in a TWA they were increasing the price of seasons from 1,000 silver to 1,200 silver, which puts us at $10 a season to now $12 per season. Or does it?
But you can't buy 12 of silver, you have to buy the $10 pack plus I think if they have a $5 pack.
You see, when you buy silver, Bungie gives you a little extra for each purchase. And the bigger the purchase, the more extra you get. So when you buy $10 worth of silver, that being 1,000, you actually get 1,100 silver. That's so generous of them. Funny how that works too, because that's just short of the amount needed to buy a new expansion. So to buy an individual season, the price by $5 because you can't buy seasons with real money. You have to buy them with Bungie's tokens. They're fake money. Now I'm surprised too, considering how cluttered the Steam store is already with expansions, which by the way, you can buy with real money. Why not just add each season there too? Make an annual season pack? Hell, folks are already confused. You might as well add it. Something tells me we won't ever see a $12 silver purchase, and even created a $100 silver purchase option too. So if you want to bankroll their pockets even more, that's a lot easier for you. And guess what? You thought a $5 increase was this new season. Guys, that's just borderline evil. Thankfully, any players who use these platforms are not completely screwed. Bungie does offer a $15 seasonal silver bundle as well, but not only is it separate from the other silver purchase options, it also doesn't advertise how much silver it gives. Free emotes. Am I right? I do want to be clear. I'm not against silver existing or people buying silver. I've bought plenty of silver. I'll even meet Bungie halfway. I'm not against paying $12 for a season, but it's these shady, scummy, underhanded tactics that Bungie keeps using that pisses me off. Bungie, if you're gonna raise the...
Dude, I never thought AZTECROSS would make a video like this, let alone talk about them. I feel like most... Well, like someone in his position in the community, they kind of just... We all just kind of just go with it with Bungie. Whatever they do, if they want to put dungeon keys, you know, I'm not going to fight it. If you want to give me a very weak narrative story like in Lightfall, I just go with it, man. I don't fight it, you know. But damn, this dude, he's going in. Let him cook. Let him cook. What?
Price of a season to $15. At least have the balls to just tell us straight. I shouldn't need to perform mental gymnastics to decipher a change in pricing structure like it's a day one raid encounter. It's not the price increase that rubs me wrong. It's how Bungie intentionally designed it to siphon more money while deceiving the community into thinking it was less. All right, this whole video has been pretty tame up until now. That's all going to change when we talk about seasonal events and event cards. Event cards are the singular worst paid item ever added to Destiny. Last year, Bungie had the idea to add event cards to Destiny. These are filled with event challenges that grant you materials, event cosmetics, weapons, etc. This card was introduced as Bungie's solution to simplify in-game events, making it easier for players to reference what they needed to do to earn more rewards and complete the event title. Their solution: plaster a giant pay to unlock button on the front of the event card to earn more rewards. You heard me right. You have to pay 1,000 silver, $10, for the privilege of completing challenges so you can earn these extra rewards. It's essentially a mini battle pass that is already inside of a seasonal battle pass model. If you don't complete the challenges, you don't get any rewards. And even worse, players often don't know that it only gives you 4 cosmetics. All the others on the card are free. This microtransaction is positioned strategically where all players interact with event challenges, because if you don't buy it immediately, Bungie wants you to stare at it for 3 weeks while you finish all your other challenges slowly.
Yeah, I didn't even do the last, was it the Guardian games, if I'm being honest. I was just screw that. I'm done.
Seducing you to part with 90% of the cosmetics you have to pay for. Surprise!
Okay, so he's talking about the events. Events are events, just like he said it. Like, we gotta pay an additional $10 to upgrade the event card so we can earn like 4 cosmetic type items. But I want to talk about the armor. There's a lot of good armor that is sold, not just event armor, but just armor in general. There's a lot of good armor design that gets put in the Eververse store, and that's where you gotta use your real money to buy the tokens. Get the tokens, you can buy yourself a little cool set of gear that's just cosmetics. And so I just don't like that was a thing. Like, there's a lot of really a lot of the good looking armor you had to buy, if I'm being honest.
Just like dungeons, seasonal events are not included in your seasonal pass purchase. You want to know spending money. Every new armor set, $10. New emotes, $10. Ghost shells, ghost projections, finishers, the list goes on. Money, money, money. It's so bad that Festival of the Lost has eternally been dubbed Festival of the Cost. Why would I want to participate in an event?
I remember the first one, Destiny 1, it was so bad.
Where I get one gun and have nothing else meaningful to work towards. Normally, I have zero problem with paying for cosmetics because cosmetics are just the extra cherry on top. I already pay for my content, and if I want to spend unfun a long time ago because the content came second to the cosmetics. Yes, it is possible for cosmetic microtransactions to ruin video games. Just look at Halo Infinite. Part of the reason why it was received so poorly, beside the lack of co-op and mediocre campaign, was because all avenues of customization were locked behind paywalls. This was always one of Halo's greatest strengths. The Master Chief Collection on Steam still has free live service seasonal content. You purchase the game once, get to play some of the best games ever made by Bungie and 343, and visual progression is alive and well, unhindered by microtransaction hell. Best $40 I've ever spent. Even less when it goes on sale. Events have become just another way, though, to squeeze more money and double dip into the player base in preparation for the next season, and it just keeps getting worse. Is Bungie in the moral wrong for promoting more cosmetics during an event? No. Do I have the right to call events in Destiny boring and being mid as hell? Because there is little to no loot tied to them that you can actually earn. Yes, we do have the incentive of events. Supremacy during Guardian games is brownie points here.
What's next? Eververse
More
store.
of a PSA. Do I have anything against paid cosmetics existing in Destiny? No. However, I don't know if you've been paying attention, but the cost for everything in Eververse store is insane. $15 per armor set. Exotic emotes can get as high as $12 each. Exotic ornaments, $6 each. And this all adds up very quickly, especially if you want to get one thing per character. The most recent price hike we've seen has been the collaboration armor sets. These started with the Epic Games collab during Season of the Plunder and have stayed consistent with every collab since. Assassin's Creed, PlayStation, all of these armor sets cost 2,000 silver each. That's $20 for one set of armor. All of Destiny 1's, DLCs included, was on sale for just $20 just a few weeks ago. There's no universe where you can convince me that 3 armor sets cost $60 total, one for each class, by the way, and somehow that is worth the same price as a AAA game. Now, will people buy them? Obviously, yes. Will Bungie make lots of money? Yeah. Are we getting ripped off? You damn right. This isn't just Bungie doing this stuff. This is basically industry standard. In-game cosmetics are beyond expensive. It's your money, so spend it.
Everyone saw the success in Fortnite. Not that they were the first ones to use cosmetics, but man, do they see it and they're like, we're gonna take that model, gonna use it.
Now you deem fit, but I figured while we're on the subject, dramatically overpriced. You're a hardcore player or even free to play. The constant scheming never ends. Bungie added the ability to purchase weapon ornaments on actual weapons in game. Now I will admit, this is convenient. If you want to view what you're flashing, the distance between the player, just 40 Bright Dust from Eververse. And if you're unfamiliar with Bright Dust, it's an in-game currency that you can't buy, but you can only spend on specific items in the Eververse store. It's designed to keep players engaged with the store.
And I think we used to be able to get bounties from Eververse or Tess Everest, and we could pretty much earn free Bright Dust, but then they took it away.
Even if they haven't spent any money, in the hopes that they will spend money in the armor, emotes, or anything else. Weeks since the Season of the Deep launch at the time of this video, and no new shaders have been sold. Now, if you like ghost projections, don't take offense to what I'm about. Now, some of you may say that will never happen. Others of you may say it happened a long time ago. However, this season, definitively without a shadow of a doubt, has now pushed Destiny 2 into pay-to-win territory. Let me explain. In the past, we've brought up issues. This is a pretty controversial subject. Another hot topic is expansion pre-order early exotic access. If you bought the Lightfall Deluxe Edition early, you unlocked Quicksilver Storm months before the Lightfall expansion was even released.
So I think they started doing this in Shadowkeep, was it? I forget which DLC was it. But because I always buy the deluxe like a dumbass, I never noticed this, but a buddy of mine, I think she had bought Witch Queen, and I remember Ostia Striga, It was a really good submachine gun at the launch of Witch Queen, and she could not get it, and she could only get it if she buys the deluxe edition of Witch Queen, and she already bought the Witch Queen standard edition, and so she had to spend an additional $90, whatever, just to get access to an exotic weapon. Oh man, Bungie.
People who bought the base version of Lightfall had to wait until Season the Deep to use this exotic, which is literally over half a year total in waiting. Now, we thought that the weapon was pretty good in PvP. We called it pay to win. More people agreed, but yet again, controversial. The problem is, many people are reluctant to call Destiny a pay to win game. This hesitancy stems from one question: what is considered winning in Destiny? If you don't know what winning
Bungie's winning. Taking our money. That's who's winning.
Even means, then can you even great loot? Actually, I believe we just found our answer. Winning in Destiny 2 means getting great loot, whether it's armor or better loot objectively gives you an advantage over other players in game. Need I mention the Immortal and Trials of Osiris or Gallahorn?
Let's skip to this part.
We know that Bungie's team for Destiny has not dramatically increased in size since the Taken King. We also know that Bungie is making a boatload of more money than they did back in Destiny 1 because more players and microtransactions exist. Yes, I think the seasonal model is better for Destiny as a live service game. Yes, I believe that microtransactions have their place in Destiny. I'm not even paying extra for seasons. I buy the deluxe edition of the game every year that has zero effect on me. But I am sick and tired of the player base getting nickeled and dimed at every turn. The constant double dipping, the never-ending increases in prices, and confusion for new players. I don't even know why we're surprised. Bungie in their GDC 2022 panel celebrated their 3-step plan for Destiny. After winning back player trust and keeping player retention high, their main focus was once again revenue. We took Bungie's side then when this controversy was blowing up, because believe it or not, we like it when Bungie's profitable. That's not a bad thing, but the pursuit of more profits came with the promise that it would be built off that foundation of player trust. Newsflash, adding pay-to-win mechanics and lying to the community destroys player trust. Is to microtransaction hell. As for Bungie's new game Marathon, why should I give a damn about Marathon? I'm not paying to play Marathon. I'm paying to play Destiny 2. And as a diverse player who plays PvP and PvE, I thought overall things were decent. But then I listened to a clip from
Yeah, because then was it Tocom? That's his name. There's a lot of the PvP, D2 PvP devs that switched over to Marathon. And I'm gonna assume they're the ones who would give us new stuff for PvP and D2. I don't know. They at least give Bungie the direction or something. I don't know. I'm paying for more games. Yay!
From Grenader Jake, who lives and breeds PvP, especially Trials.
I think what Bungie touches usually turns to gold. Halo, Destiny, I bet PvP essentially, which is what they've done. They've made us basically.
Nah, dude. Yeah, well, they usually, whatever Bungie touches turns to gold, but not anymore. After the launch of D1, D2, I don't think people they're not gonna like Bungie like that anymore. So, and I'm also gonna be an oracle once more and say that final shape is going to be average expansion or below. Enough said.
Basically no new maps in like 4 years, yet continue to make us pay hundreds of dollars a year so they can go work on their next baby. It feels like complete bullshit, dude. I feel like Destiny players have the right, especially Destiny PvP players, to be pissed. We're still spending over $100 every year to play this game. They literally abandoned us, and I feel like that's really frustrating.
And this really put things into perspective. Bungie abandoned Destiny 2 PvP for their new PvP game. Not only that, but Marathon is also getting all the bells and whistles Destiny players have been asking for a very long time. Dedicated servers, leaderboards, new maps. Only after complaining year after year, buying new expansions and seasons year after year, are PvP players finally getting some attention. More than anything else, it's just sad that this much money money has been spit by this many people, and what content do they have to show for it? Almost nothing. Bungie made a promise to make
They
the game
took
better
it
for all
away.
players, not just PvE players,
They
all
took the
players.
content
Sadly,
away,
this
bro.
isn't the first time Destiny players have been abandoned before. I know a lot of you have never played or don't care about Destiny 1 these days,
Dude,
but 7
Taken
years ago,
King
before
was
Silver
so
even
good.
existed, the Taken King Collector's Edition was sold, and it included some custom emotes and class items. Back then, these were some of the best looking armor pieces and emotes in the game. Several of our editors were young teens at the time, and being Destiny fans, they bought the Collector's Edition. Revisiting those accounts years later, practicing for the Destiny 2 King's Fall raid race, gathering footage for videos and so on, they notice they can't equip their custom Taken King items anymore. Items that they own, items that they paid for, items that Bungie would happily charge them $20 to repurchase years later are sitting in their inventory, and they can't use them. They aren't the only ones either. Forum posts dating several years back also complained about this exact issue. Bungie hasn't fixed it. Why would they? Repurchasing old content isn't new grounds for Bungie, and paying for content just for it to be unplayable years later isn't a novel concept for them. Bungie doesn't care about their old game. Bungie only cares about their new game, the one that will make them more money, the one that gets the $3.6 billion deals, the one they can use as a vehicle to be as profitable as possible, pay to win or otherwise. That's everything. That's all I got, guys. This isn't a Bungie strike. This isn't me disowning Destiny for the boycott. Is one 3-minute cinematic from being over. The final shape. Destiny's climax is on the horizon. Microtransactions will not kill Destiny. Destiny is not on the verge of collapse. It's in fact the opposite. Destiny is making more money than ever before. It has more players than ever before. And I love that. But the terrible truth is and devalue the player. I remember the days when you walked into a store and bought a game, and now more than ever I find myself diving into a game and finding a store. A long time ago, when Bungie was beneath the corporate umbrella of Activision, we saw the senseless greed, the half-baked products, and we rejoiced when Bungie went solo. Little did we know, we were going out of the frying pan and into the fire. Bungie in some ways is worse than Activision ever was. If you take anything from this video, I want you to think about everything we discussed, all the actions Bungie has taken objectively, and decide for yourself, where do I draw the line? How
Man, you kind of leave me speechless. All the things you're saying, AZTECROSS, man, they just they hit right in the heart, man. Shit, my memories of Destiny. Nah, I feel very same about how a lot of things that Bungie has done after a departion. Departion, is that a word? I need to go to sleep. Departed with with Activision, and God, man, D2 was the launch was so bad, dude. It was so bad. And then the 2 DLCs that followed, Curse of Osiris and Warmind. Warmind was a little bit better, but still, it was so bad. But I'm just so used to Bungie, you know, being like this. I just go with it, and it's like an abusive relationship. I stay around. But that's about it. If anyone watched, appreciate you. Have a good one.